Okay, it is time for my Wandering In Volume 2 review. So, this is going to have very minor spoilers for Book 1. It's not going to be much, just one small thing in my spoiler-free section, because I think I have to say it. But beyond that, it's not much. So, okay. Eren and Ryoka both get a huge bump up in quality in this book. So, for the first book, it was mostly Eren Solstice, who we follow, and a little bit of Ryoka here and there. This second book, I feel like it's more fairly split between the two of them, and we get so much more depth to the both of them. And because these two characters, Eren and Ryoka, are able to interact, we get a ton of depth. And by their respective knowledge, the respective knowledge that Ryoka has and the respective knowledge that Eren has, Eren is able to affect the world even more so than she already has. Eren's ability to stand out becomes bigger. Her impact, their impact really, Ryoka and Eren's, has a greater effect on us as the audience and the people around them. And there are so many parts of this book that I was obsessed with. It again calls this little horror aspect in some moments. There was a side story that occurred in this book that was scary as shit, really. You look at that and you go, okay, that's kind of fucked up. But it was great. I honestly loved it. At the start, I wasn't a very big fan because it takes me a long time to get into characters. But after we got started, it was boom, off to the races, and I was obsessed. These characters did a fantastic job, and god damn, it was great. But Ryoka especially. So Eren, I knew she was fantastic, and I love her even more in this book. But the standout character in this book was easily, by far, Ryoka. And also, winter's coming in, as you can see in the cover. I was obsessed with the little fairies that come in, because the way winter works here is the Fae come in and they bring about winter. First of all, that's cool. It's not like a weather thing. It's literally the magic spirits come in and bring about winter. That's cool. But what's funnier is all of them have like this Scottish accent. Scottish, Irish, some of them Welsh. And the narrator has this perfect accent for them. Like, oh my god. I love her accent for these fairies. And it's just amazing. Like, you hear these little... It's like the voice of a little girl as a Scot cursing you out. All the time, screwing with you, toying with you, making you slip and fall on your face. It's amazing. And the way that Eren and Ryoka are forced to interact with the Fae in this book was amazing. It was hilarious at times. And so the world expands exponentially. Seriously. And it also makes it so that these characters also have to interact with each other in their own special ways. I think what is nailed is actually something Hobb does brilliantly. The way that each individual person, we, ourselves, will interact with everybody we know in our lives very differently. I will interact differently to my mother than I will to my best friend. Or my best friend to this other guy who I know and I'm really good friends with. But still very differently between these two. And I think that Pirate Abba, the author, nails that perfectly. I was obsessed. And also, the humor for this book was nailed. I loved it, especially with the very first chapter. The very first chapter it got a good chuckle out of me. I was laughing my ass off at some of the jokes there. It was fantastic. And this entire book, from beginning to end, and there's a specific standout sequence towards the end, two of them really, with Ryoka, that gives us more insight into her as a character, that gives us more insight into everything around her and set up further stakes for the book, and honestly, actually, for the rest of this series going forward. I thought it was brilliantly done, and it made me so unbelievably excited to continue. Did we get any new POVs in this book? I don't think so. But I know, so I'm actually a little bit ahead, so I just finished Volume 3. I know that's the only thing I've been doing this month, reading Wandering End. It is like my One Piece addiction. It's so fucking good. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have for the spoiler-free section. So, a 3, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodbye. Alright, I'm in spoilers. So, one of my favorite sections, what comes to mind with Volume 2 is actually the Terriarch scene towards the end. And I'm now realizing how much, I'm not talking about how Volsafe meets Ryoka, and how Volsafe gives her the pendant, and that wards off the spell that was cast on her, and that was absolutely amazing. Oh my god, that was fantastic. And then, well, what else? I love the ending with Terriarch and how, what's her name? Ryoka has that whole conversation. It added so much depth to Terriarch. I had no idea that Terriarch was going to be so nuanced. I thought, we've got this haughty dragon, this kind of an asshole at times dragon. But we love him, because he's a dragon, of course. Who doesn't love a good dragon? Dragons are fucking awesome. But he had depth to him. In that, yeah, I'm this prideful, arrogant son of a bitch, and I'm also fucking greedy as hell. But there were aspects to him where he's going, he's a caring creature. And I loved that about him. I love that Pirate Abba seems to have this belief in humanity that we are inherently kind. I don't know. I'd have to keep going further in the series before I come to the conclusion about other species. I believe she probably will, but that these people are inherently kind towards one another. We're trying to do our best, but it's not, we're not out there to get each other. We're not out there to destroy each other. And I think that is a wonderful belief. And the way Ryoka, especially in the, not just the Terriarch scene, but when she's going to get Mersha. I loved the scene where she is running up that mountain and how she's begging the fairies, please, 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 oh, please, save me, save this child. We need to save her, please. And I loved that section. I also love her relationship with the fairies in general, because she fucking pissed them off. And the Fae are like, oh, no, don't worry, we won't kill you. We're just going to make your life a living fucking hell. And they kept that promise. Holy shit! They are vile little devils. Oh my god, they just, I love how one time she takes a second to make a fire. Okay, cool. And then they douse the fire and just spray the coals on her, which is insane. She gets burnt. And then the gnolls find her stuck in the snow. And so they have to save her ass. And so I love that whole sequence. And Ryoka in that segment of, this little bratty gnoll child's coming up to me and, poking me. I'm like, what the fuck do you want, kid? And how Mersha stole... I probably can't say that, can I? How Mersha stole her clothes in the middle of the night, and how Ryoka's forced to run across the stupid encampment to get her clothes back. I thought that was pretty funny. But then I loved that... Oh, also, the segment where she's Batman in the interlude was absolutely amazing. How she's like cursing everyone out. But her moment there, and how she has to decide, oh, am I going to save Mersha or risk bad things happening? And so she risks it. But also the Knowles put their stake on the line and say, hey, no. If this lady's going to say, I'm going to do anything for the Knoll child, then we got to do the same too. Or really, this is our child. This is somebody who we must protect. She is the next generation of our tribe. And what I think is ironic about that is they all died. Oh, yeah. Like, I wonder if they really understood that they could possibly all die because of the consequences of what is about to happen. And would they die regardless? Because I feel like they would have died whether or not the Goblin Lord was there. And that was an absolutely fantastic section. Oh, and I completely forgot. The moment where we get that, like, the chessboard given to Eren. I thought that was so cool, how they have the ghost chessboard. I don't know, I love it. And how the guy on the other side had no idea that somebody else was playing him. And how I think it was some point in this book, I hope I'm right, when Rags plays, yeah, I'm pretty sure, she plays the game, and then after that, the guy on the other side makes a frowny face. He goes, I'm not happy with that. Come on. Don't go easy on me, you sack of shit. But I loved that. And the entire section with Tauren. Oh my god. I think I was losing it. Honest to God, I was losing it. How Eren was constantly like using Tauren as this thing and like, pull the sleigh! I'm like, what, are you insane, lady? This guy's starting to think it's like it's fucking Skynet she's making. Are you insane? But I was talking about crap. I was talking about Ryoka. But Ryoka's segment of going to save Mersha and how she gets Mersha and hugs her tight, and then she loses her 2 fingers. I think it's these 2 fingers. Maybe I'm wrong, but that moment, how the goblin bites her fingers off and then she's saved, and I loved that segment, and how she gets to Eren and how she collapses, and then the whole fight with Eren and with Mersha. I also love that segment because it shows this emotional awareness between them. That is, look, I know I said something mean, I know I said something cruel, but we are still friends, I still love you, and I didn't mean it that way. I'm angry and I'm bitter right now. But so things, when we are angry and bitter, come out the wrong way. But I love that they had that understanding. That they were able to say, okay, you are angry, you are tired, and you just shouted at me, and then you made me angry, and you made me exhausted and in pain. And how they were able to reach that conclusion of, oh, we're both messing up here. I absolutely adored that form, because that's very typical conflict, I believe. Like, life gets in our way and makes us upset, and then we start going, okay, we gotta fix that. I thought that was absolutely brilliantly handled. I loved the way Ryoka had to deal with the fallout. It was delightful. And then Mersha and the strife that she has with the Knolls, and how she has to deal with that as a consequence, finally, how she is forced to deal with so many things afterwards. How she's a survivor of this clan, but now she has white fur, and because she has white fur, nobody's going to accept her. But Kershaya had the kindness in her heart to say, no, this is absurd. I think it's the othering. The idea of othering was so wonderfully portrayed. and I loved it for that. And then Terriarch and his greediness was perfectly portrayed. Everything, every segment of this book was so meticulously handled. Oh, and I didn't even talk about Lionette. Lionette is a pain in the ass. And then how Aaron is like, nope, we ain't killing here. We just get so many badass moments from Aaron, and it's like, okay, look, you follow the rules of my inn, and you don't kill here. You don't kill goblins. You don't kill here. And how in that time a while back, she had to fight for herself. She had to kill the goblin chieftain. And now here, it's like, okay, you're breaking the rules of my inn. You're trying to hurt me, or you're trying to hurt one of my people. We don't kill here. And then how she's just beating the shit out of an entire Gnoll tribe. It's like, oh, yep, boom, boom, boom. And I loved it so much because it was hilarious. Like, imagine this 20-year-old girl comes out and says, okay, to a bunch of these hardened warriors, by the way, and says, okay, so are you going to obey my rules, or are we going to have to fight? And then she goes and beats the shit out of them all. Oh, in another section, Oz-Karash. I thought he was dead. Part of me thought he was dead. Part of me didn't think he was dead. But regardless, I thought it was amazing, that segment of, okay, I'm going to run over there and go to Oz-Karash. And while she's there, we all go, okay, what's happened? And we think, okay, finally she's safe. And then his caretakers or his minions come and say, no, you're gonna stay here because we know our lord, he's focused on this. And then towards the end of the novel, it goes, yeah, he was focused on it. Sure, he was focused on it. And then he just shouts at his minions like, yes, I wanted her to stay here. You should not have let her leave. But then he's like, okay, well, it's not as big a problem as I'm thinking because she hasn't told anyone. It's not a big problem. And I thought that was hilarious how Terriarch gave her this thing and it's like, oh, great. It doesn't matter that much. It's like, it doesn't matter. Take it. But everybody else is like, oh my god, it's this magical, super powerful thing. This super powerful item. And I loved that section as well. What else? So much great stuff about this book. I could go on and on about The Wandering Inn right now because, again, it's like my One Piece obsession. I caught up to One Piece in a month. That's not happening here, but it's close. If I was on break, just understand that this whole series would be fucked. Anyways, I think that's about all I have to say. This book, Volume 2, was absolutely amazing, and it's climbing up in the ranks for me. I think probably like number 10, maybe it's getting there. Seriously. Anyways, that's all I have to say for today. Tell me, have you read The Wandering Inn Volume 2? What do you think of it, if you have? And I hope you all have had an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you all next time.